We're back. There we go.
Hello.
So we're
We
just
have backgrounded up.
We do not. We're just simple and easy and plain right now. Nothing huge in terms of the way. So this is session -1 because we'll probably have a session 0 as well.
Yeah, this is the thing we normally do on Discord.
Yes. Well, this thing we don't really do. We are on Discord already.
Oh, we normally do it in the chat
Non-streaming
function.
or
Yeah, we
just
normally
on
just
the chat.
In chat, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
we
you get
chat
the-
for 2 weeks.
Now you get the ground level bickering and arguing about what's going on in this game.
Who
Live.
are you people?
It says in my contract I get to be a werewolf.
I get 12 episodes of werewolf time.
Okay, so I can get rid of this. So, Fate of the Norns Ragnarok is, as a summary, we already talked about this, a mythologically accurate Viking game is what we talked about. It is historically accurate, but then also the Viking beliefs are not only factually true, but have already happened. The sun has been swallowed
Ragnarok's a time period. There are epics, like in Norse mythology, there's periods of time that exist. Ragnarok is one of those periods of time. It is, yes, the last period of time, but it is one of the periods of time, like the time before Ragnarok and the time before. So, like, there's the middle bit. We're just at the end bit.
It's not an event. There's no, like, it's not a very quick thing. Ragnarok has been happening for years.
Yeah. Stuff has happened, like the Ragnarok events.
Yes.
I think we're in the second phase with Ragnarok.
We are in the second age within the age of Ragnarok is we're in the age of the axe, I think.
Who is Thor fighting at this point? Which of his many foes that he fights in
I
Ragnarok?
think he already killed the giant, I think. I think it's just Jormungandr that's left.
So it's Thor's last fight.
Yeah. So right now everything is dark because there's no sun, and everything is cold because there's no sun. There's snow everywhere.
Fimbulwinter.
It is exactly. It is going to be. There is going to be some survival stuff. The kingdoms, and tribes and nations still exist and are still struggling to survive, but things have gotten much, much tougher. Farming doesn't exist obviously anymore. People are hunting for food, pretty much exclusively now, and that's getting more and more scarce. So there's going to be problems there, but they haven't. There's a lot. It's considered a large kettle that's about to start boiling, but hasn't quite reached that point yet. And you guys are going to, oddly enough, be playing as, I would say, the closest thing to D&D-esque adventurers in this setting.
Yeah, or it's kind of, at least from my view of reading a little bit of the game, it's like, fuck it, world's ending, let's go on an adventure.
Yep. So the gods are literally looking for valorous people to recruit, but unless if you die heroically and honorably, they're going to recruit you to their armies, and you'll basically be immortal.
Yes, to Valhalla.
So many people are intentionally just leaving their life, except bringing their sword with them.
This is your exit ticket. This is your way out.
Yes.
Like, you see the doom coming. You see the rock falling. It's like, what do? I could die a heroic death and go to hero heaven, or I could not. Those are my two options now. Survival is off the table.
Yeah, it's how do you die, not if.
Just don't die at sea. Whatever you do, don't die at sea. You go to sea hell. You're on a boat and you eat dry fish forever. That's what you do if you die at sea.
That does not sound fun. So yeah, that's the summary of the game. I will show. Here is a deck of all 24 of the runes in the game. Let me make sure you guys can browse it. This is just going to show what it looks like. Yes, you guys can all look and choose the cards, in this case, in Roll20. This is just an example of what they look like. There is also, I'll get to everything else on here, But in here is a list of them with their names all on there as well, for what they are. And there is a folder in the handouts also with each rune and its name and that name's meaning. So if you ever have issues with the runes, let me know. The runes are everything.
Yeah. My core rune issue is that Tolkien used Anglo-Saxon runes for the dwarf alphabet, and in high school I definitely memorized the entire dwarf alphabet.
Oh, and now you have to unlearn that.
If we want to know how my high school went, it was reading Lord of the Rings a lot.
Could be worse. You couldn't know
be.
how to speak Klingon.
I don't know how to speak Klingon. I don't know how to speak French either. I've tried so hard to learn other languages.
I could barely speak English.
Yeah.
So
I should try writing more.
Before we get started, there are actually a few things when it comes to... There are a few macros and additions to this Roll20 game. There are some that you won't need to know till later. There's one that I want to introduce now, and there is an add-on that's been added in here called Map Change, allowing you guys to select what maps you actually want to go to.
Where is this?
So, they're just, if you type in the game, !MC, I think you'll each have to do it if you want to see it, !MC space help. It will give you a menu of different things that you can see. You can click them, I think, to have things pop up. The one that I will have you guys make as a macro now or later is actually the one at currently. So there are two macros. One will be I'll just post them in chat for Neon Courts. We have that one will move you to the page you are currently on, and then as a separate macro, this one will move you back to the page that everyone is looking at. This will, if you have them set as macros and just click the buttons, allow you to seamlessly switch between two pages pretty much instantly. We will need that because you will often be looking at both a battle map, hex grid, and your play mat, which is on here, which affects your, which shows like your health, any wounds that you have, your current runes that you can play and use, and how to use them, and how they're combining with each other, and all sorts of stuff. So you'll be going back and forth.
Cool. Well, it's a good thing those macros are there, because otherwise that would get real tedious.
Oh, yes. Marissa and I have done some test fights. We discovered a few things. One, this game is not built for PvP, because player characters are too tanky, so none of us can really damage each other.
Cool.
But two, we did it with and without the macros. It was a huge pain without, and really easy with, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I've done this correctly, because clicking buttons does nothing.
That is because those are currently both the same pages. So now I've moved you to the world map. Now try clicking the playmats one.
Ah, there we go. Yep. Boom, boom.
I'm in the midst of doing my macro.
There are more macros for later, but those are character-specific ones. We will deal with it once characters are ready.
Nice. I did it.
Okay.
I feel smart.
It's
Lots of
very
amazing
useful.
macros for this.
Yes. I think we can jump into character creation. I have handouts for this. This is the big handout.
Yes.
We will all be starting at level 9. That is the minimum level.
I like that. I like starting at 9 a lot. Because level 9 sounds a lot cooler. I'm level 1.
Level 1.
I mean, technically it is level 1 if everyone always starts at level 9.
I'm level 9. I'm level 9.
The lowest possible CR 1/4 equivalent of a creature is level 3.
Listen, if everyone's super, nobody is.
So you can. There are more options that would unlock later for future characters, but right now you can spend 1 level to get 1 essence. 1 essence is basically you get a rune you get a card in your deck. You get a rune in your pool drawn randomly. Or you can spend 2 levels to get a destiny, which is effectively how much you can draw per turn or per round of your runes. At level 9, summarized here, this effectively ends up coming down into option A, B, or C with how much what you can spend them. I do not recommend choosing option C. A or B are good, but if you ever take any injuries, you will be completely screwed with C. As we discovered, basically.
I can draw 3, but I only have 3 and I've been hurt. Well, there goes the only bonus I just sacrificed that all for.
Yeah. It's, damage is frequent, not that crippling unless you have very peasants.
So I'll go with B because it says recommended right in the thing.
It is, and it's honestly, it's still good. Option A will make you tankier. Each rune...
Oh, through that. I want to die gloriously.
Yes, for Valhalla.
All right.
I might go A just to be different, so I could be the strong. I didn't think I said this on stream. My only character concept going into this, I am the strongest man from Wessex, and I will say that at least 12 times an episode. Whenever anyone asks me to do anything, it's I am the strongest man from Wessex. And
of course.
I'm going to go for the one that makes me the strongest man from Wessex, because I am the unkillable tank with no destiny.
Yes.
What nobody knows is there was a plague that recently swept through Wessex. Everyone there is weak at
Also, I'm assuming, and if it's not true, I would request that we never go to Wessex.
Never prove me wrong.
Would you ever like to meet other people from Wessex?
Other people from Wessex are fine, but going there is a big no-no because I am the strongest man from Wessex. I am not the strongest man in Wessex.
You specifically got your title when you left because you couldn't stay there anymore.
Yes, all the strong people stay home. I have left Wessex, therefore.
No, I am the strongest man from Wessex, and I will take no argument to the contrary.
Perfect.
One thing to possibly clarify is tanky is a relative term. You will definitely have more runes to,
Yeah, I understand it. I have more powers and less chance to draw them.
Yes. Each essence, however, also gives you a fairly significant passive ability as well. So that's why A is also quite strong.
I have totally messed up these macro bar things, so we can address that later.
Perfect. Okay. Step 2 we skip because that is for future characters.
Yep.
Oh yeah, if you die, your next character come back cooler.
Yes.
You siphon the souls of your dead heroes to empower your new one. Death is never a bad option.
Basically, no.
Oh no, I have the worst idea for all my characters. They're all related to each other.
Just keep dying.
There's a family hierarchy page.
That actually is a thing. Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Just
So,
die as often as
it's
possible.
not. It doesn't have to be related, but it's encouraged to be related.
Listen, here's the plan. I'm gonna do a random name for the first name. And
There's
the
a name
last
table.
I will do another. Yes, I know. And then I'll do another random name for the last name. So it'll be blah 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 son. And then when that guy dies, I take the father's first name, put it as the last name, and just go from there.
So is your first character going to be like in his 90s, and then you work your way younger each time?
Listen, who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, you're a
Ragnarok's
werewolf. You
long
can be
time.
90 and a werewolf. It's fine.
Yeah.
Salt and
Ragnarok's
pepper
a
fur.
long time.
Yeah. Ragnarok, listen, you get around as a werewolf, man. He might have a lot of sons that are the same age.
You don't know. You don't, like, out of the woods could come werewolf son. Child of the wolf.
A practicality
Herald
thing
Wolfson.
that we did discover is if you have a really long name, you usually have so many macros along the bottom to do the different things that when I had a really long name, I couldn't actually see the full list of macros.
There
that were
are about
available and
8
were needed.
to 10 macros you will need.
Yeah.
Keep your character sheet's name as just the first name, even if you have the last name.
That's a good tip.
Yes.
Do we have characters?
You do. There are many characters there. I do not. I think you guys each.
I have taken Jordan Test for my test, and I will just remake him as a new man.
Perfect. Marissa, will you be making a character with this, or picking one of the 5 you've?
I'm going to follow along, I think, with the first character I made because I want to double check to make sure I did it right.
Okay. Indigo, I think Ufox Ugrk is untaken.
Oh, he's already taken Runar.
Ofuks. Runar's
Zen.
Zen.
So,
Yeah.
Ufox.
Oh,
or I'll take
duh,
Ufox.
I'm dumb. I thought you said Zen, not Indigo.
I do not have access
might
to
have.
Ufox.
Oh, you don't? Okay, let me give you
No.
that.
Ufox Ugrike is pretty good as a name.
It's not a. It's not an
it's
English
technically
name. Though.
Ofuks, I think.
I might have to go off book to get a more English name.
Yeah.
It'll still be time period appropriate. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go for like Henry Breadmaker or whatever. But
Well, is this pre-invasion of Normandy?
No,
no.
Nope.
The
Crusaders.
Anglo-Saxons have made it to England.
It's a thing.
this is when the Vikings were ejected from Northumbria.
Okay,
Yeah, the Vikings have been to Wessex in this world. Like
got it.
the idea of the Norse is not a new thing to the strongest man from Wessex. He has definitely fought Vikings before.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that the Crusaders were coming was a big part of it, but I know nothing of this history.
Oh wait, hold on. This is like 900, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
this is when
so-
Athelstan kicked out succeeded
yeah.
in getting the
I'm
Vikings
thinking-
back.
I'm thinking pre William the Conqueror. That's what
What
I'm
is that
940,
show
I
on
think?
Netflix that I have seen too much of that's around this time period of the Normans in...
It's not
In
called
England-
Vikings. There is a show
No,
called
it has-
Vikings.
No,
Oh,
there's one. Yeah, there's another
I've
one
seen
that's sort
Vikings
of like
too.
Vikings, but yeah.
It's
I know Vinland
Last
Saga
Kingdom.
is a thing. I've never heard of
Last
Last Kingdom.
Is it
Okay.
Last Kingdom?
Yeah, Last Kingdom or something. Yeah.
I've seen so much of that where it's like the show gets a little bit railed for like making too big. It's that show and Game of Thrones that like I saw some op-ed piece being like they put too much trust in the shield wall for the entire writing of the show for some unknown reason, but they do. Like both of those shows put so much trust in the combat tactic of the shield wall. Not that it didn't exist, but to the point where they overblow its actual use by an alarming amount. But it's like, yeah, they did do this sometimes, but like this is a risky. Any strategy that's face to face is not the first call,
Mhm.
and it's like every fight, it's shield wall, no matter what. So there was an op-ed piece being like, this is just kind of silly at this point.
Okay.
So
So
we draw runes.
you draw runes to decide your core stats, basically. I think it's best to do this one character at a time. And then we can keep in mind what those are. So who would like to go first to draw runes?
I want to draw.
Okay, I'm going to make sure everyone is on this section and we can place them down.
Oh, okay. You're gonna have to tell me where to place them because I don't
Just
know.
any.
where to place
You can just place them in the white area and then we write down. I'm going to once you've completed step 4, you'll each have your own separate page that you'll be on with
Got
your
it.
own character stuff.
So I will draw 1, 2, 3, 4. I went with the middle, so I'm going 5. And then I just
Did you get
go.
reds?
There
Got
we
one
go.
red.
I got 1 red.
So
One red.
and then you can use the runes on the tables. I tend to in order, but that's entirely up to you.
I
Each
think suggests an order.
yeah, each rune corresponds to, or is intended to, it's optional, corresponds to one of these things. So the first rune could correspond to your personality. In which
I'm
case,
gonna go right in order.
all right.
I got chameleon.
Yes.
You do not have a strong self-identity. You are capable of taking on various personas. that
That's
are best for the
almost
situation.
ironic.
Secret agent werewolf. Secret agent werewolf.
You're able to change your form, huh?
Okay, and then where would I put that on this little rune page?
No, it's his character sheet.
Put it in your character sheet for now.
Oh, okay.
There will
This
be a
is like
separate thing that you
table.
shall see. Actually, I have one for you already because I knew you were going to be a werewolf, so drag you there.
Did I
no
spell
one else will see
chameleon
what
wrong?
you're doing. There we go.
There isn't a specific place on the character sheet for personality. I just dumped it in notes and this stuff mostly.
Okay, so Jordan,
Okay.
you're seeing this. For now, we'll get to what you were seeing. There are the runes. You can place them around in the next step, not this one. I will shrink
Ooh,
them.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And then. Oh gosh.
But then the next one is motivation.
I think it was the R,
and
right?
ambitions. It is the
Yes,
R,
they
yeah.
are.
The green R is extermination. You have chosen to rid the world of some pest. You can define which that you work to find and destroy.
Is it
Sheep.
cats?
Cats.
Sheep. Sheep. The sheep slaughter of
Hold
the
on.
mountains. Furious sheep slaughter of no, like it's a trail of wool and blood that tracks its way through the Vinland.
It could also be
Okay.
something fantastical, like trolls
Yeah,
are a
it's a-
thing.
Yeah, it could be something cooler than
Ooh.
sheep, but
I'll have to look to see what things I can exterminate. But I
Okay.
like trolls, but I want to see what else there are.
All right, nobleman.
No. I need to exterminate all men from Wessex.
But luckily, starting with the weakest and working your way up, so he's safe for a
Yes.
while.
He's safe for now.
Strongest man from Wessex. You gotta
Okay,
level up
and then-
first before you can fight me.
Social standing. Oh, it's on the first page. Cool. It's the blue N, right?
Blue N.
Correct.
I'm a local merchant.
This is your previous employment, residual wealth, and land claims. So you were a local merchant.
Business
Ragnarok
involved buying
thing.
around goods for manufacturers and hunters and selling them in town. Forced to mark up your prices on necessities and the hardest products since Fimbulwinter. Competition is fierce, and your life and business have been threatened. You start with trade gear and 600 scat.
Maybe you gotta take out all stockbrokers.
Oh my god, I have to. Werewolf go burr. Local merchant. What did I say? Trade gear and 600 scat. I
Oh, it
assume
looks
scat is just money.
It is
Yeah.
just money. If you keep your
It's iron
business,
pieces, I think.
it's up to you. If you keep your business, you will make approximately 3,000 per month.
Ooh, I have to figure out what my business is before I decide.
Okay.
However, you get to weird runes every month, and if it's the wrong one, it's burned to the ground by your competitors. Have fun.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
It's
I'm
been
glad there's upkeep. I'm glad there's
your business was
upkeep
shut
on-
down due to hate speech.
Hate speech. Okay, and then
Ragnarok's not real. Sun's just taking a nap.
listen, the fire that burned down my stall was started by a Draugr space laser. Nobody got that joke.
Nope.
I did.
I
Sorry.
did get the
Sorry,
joke.
I don't know the reference.
I'll
It's
tell you
a
after.
worse conspiracy
Ooh.
theory.
Oh, God. I know
so
some
s-
koozies.
Social connections, which is the
Yes.
green F. Scald. Is this just someone I know?
This is someone you know. Yes.
You know
A
a bard.
Scald, a songwriter and poet, good for chronicling great deeds and spreading the word.
I'd like to
You-
think of
you-
them as your marketing person.
Oh,
Your
oh
hype
no!
man.
This is
No, no,
just
no.
this is
No,
Geralt and
Dandelion.
Dandelion.
You're trying to get you're trying to use your crusade to wipe out, I don't know, people that like are ruining your business or whatever you're hunting. You're using your person to make a story out of your crusade. You're trying to immortalize your quest to eliminate whatever you're trying to eliminate.
That's great.
That's pretty good.
And
And then my
the name.
name is the weird M. Adun.
all right. And that
A-U-D.
Is that?
Adun, the Eradicator.
I like it. Doing the Eradicator.
Yep. So, I am going to double check that. Hold on. Is this going to accidentally? Just a sec. If I recall this to allow someone else to draw, it will delete Jordan's runes. So let me first create copies of those that won't recall. Here we go. This. They have names under them, these ones. This, and this. I think you should have. Do you have control over them? I think everyone should have control.
I do.
Mhm.
Ironic that the werewolf draws the man rune for his last rune. That is
Um,
his name.
And then I will recall all of these. I will shuffle. And who wants to draw next? Jordan will move you over
Oh.
so you can see.
I'll draw now.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what's the thing to go back to that page?
That one, you'll need to make another macro. Replace. It's the same as the other macros, but replace the word playmats with Jordan space sheet.
Okay, so replace playmat with Jordan space sheet. MC
Capital J, capital S.
move target Jordan sheets or sheet?
Sheet singular.
Do you have to have a word after move? Is it just capital, like, exclamation point MC move?
It's move, and then you target what page you want to move to. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
hyphen. It's a move space hyphen target, and then space, and then the name of the page. Which I don't.
That's where I messed up. I didn't do that.
Okay. So I just hit the choose button here. Does that draw it automatically?
No. If
Or
you
no,
hover
draw,
over the
right.
deck, yeah.
Oh, and I can just name a number of cards. So draw 5. Bam.
Perfect. Do you want to drag them onto the page so we can all see them?
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
So you're pretty strong. You got the strong runes.
So,
All right. So running down the list, we got personality first, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Personality is where? Oh, there it is. Confident.
I think it's confidant.
Oh, confidant. You take the time to bring out the best in others. You are supporting and emotive. Oh, good.
All right. Obviously, there are no mechanical incentives to use these. It is just a tool to help you make your character. You can completely ignore these if you do like them.
Is there like a point to write these down on the sheet? No.
Sadly,
The
no,
notes
there's not.
and the note section is it.
Okay.
If you want to keep track of what runes you have, that would be easily put into the rune section there.
Next is motivation and ambition. Red. Survival. Risks are not worth taking. Every decision needs to be weighed against personal harm. I'm a coward.
You're the
Everyone
coward who
else
runs
wants to
back
die.
Camp. Yeah, you're the coward that runs back to camp that talks to everyone about how hard their day was.
All right, so that's motivation, the survival. Sorry, I'm making notes here.
Yeah.
I have a quick question about the runes.
Oh no.
So, do I put 5 on each rune thing, or do I
Yes.
put a 5?
I can copy
okay.
them. It will end up being 5 on each.
And
Okay.
it does matter in all cases which rune is on which square, including skills. They're mapped to a specific rune.
Yep.
Oh.
It rarely matters for skills, but it does.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will have
These
7
guys
for
don't
each of
work.
those.
Yep.
I will have
Okay.
so many
Oh,
rune
you
options.
are choosing 7 and 1.
Yes, I'm
Perfect.
doing 7 and 1 as that.
Zen,
We'll
I've
do that
I
later.
found your social
The-
standing.
Yeah, this is the juxtaposition. Hero of renown. You have always sought
you-
out for dangerous and high-profile work. Your reputation
Oh.
precedes you, and you get free room and board.
You're the
You
only one that
start with adventure
survives.
gear and 600 scat.
That's
You're
what
the
it
only one
is.
that survives. Everyone else in your party dies. You come back claiming the glory.
What is not known is how they die on the road right before town, like a true adventurer from old D&D.
Yep.
I killed them for the gold. I need to level up. I need 5 more gold coins to level up, and you have 5 sitting in your pocket.
What's perfect is that actually in this there is a mechanical reason not ever to grave rob or steal from dead corpses or loot bodies. You should not loot bodies. But if you steal from them before you kill them, you're good.
Yeah, as long as they die with a weapon in their hand, you're in the clear.
Okay. So my social connection, I know a laborer.
That
No,
helps.
the person who buried.
In a craft or trade. Yeah, you know
You know, the
a grave digger. Yep. That's great.
Someone who works in the craft or trade and service, good for help and connections to tradesmen. Well, so that's good. We'll work that one.
Fixing
And
your
lastly,
weapons.
would be the name, which is that weird squiggly shit. Too small, I can't see it. Oh, Ginnar.
The renowned hero Ginnar. All right. So I will. I need to set you up in the same way. I think we'll go to step 2 with you, Zen, and then, or step not 2, the next step after this one. And I can set you up with the sheet so that I can save your runes on top of the.
Sure.
Do you know at this point, or do you want to randomly roll what playbook you want to start as? Playbook is the closest thing I could call it.
Yeah, the archetype. I think I want to go Scald with this one.
All right. So, I will.
So what's your character name? Add on the Eradicator. What is yours if you're not Scald?
Oh,
You haven't decided?
I'm the Ulfhendar.
Ulfhendar?
Ulfhendnar, which is a werewolf, basically. I
Yeah.
wear a wolf skin.
Okay. Zen over to this page. Tokens over here. And then I have to make quick copies of those tokens specifically. That will not disappear when this one. Perfect. I'm going to make 3 copies of these, and then we'll end up getting to... We'll probably, because of how long it will probably take, deal with the rune stuff in between sessions, because you have to look up what most of these are, I suspect. If you want to. Have to was definitely something. You could also randomly roll, like, oh, I can...
You could randomly pick them and then look them up post.
Yep. That's correct.
I have had people do that, and it did take about 10 minutes, and that was about it.
Yep.
Guess
All
what I'm
right.
doing.
So I'm going to recall these. And Indigo, you're drawing 7, so it's up to you. Do you want the first 5 to then be the 2?
Well, I'm not going to do the last one for the name anyway.
True. Okay, so first 4.
I just drew 7. Well,
yep. The first
how
4.
do I make these go up?
You should be able to
just
drag
them out.
them to the...
There's too many things. I have so many windows open.
I know,
Yeah,
there's so many
here.
things.
There you go.
There are
Oh, I really
things.
am the strongest man from Wessex. Cool. I got
smartest.
two emotion things. Yeah, that's why I'm the strongest.
Excellent.
But I got enough physical runes. I got more than 1, which is what I didn't want.
Yeah.
I don't have any glaring weaknesses of 1 in one category.
No. Okay.
So
personality.
Where am I looking at that? There's the personality. What do I have? I have the...
It fits.
Nadahin or whatever.
For personality, yes. You have, I see.
Originator. You are creative and develop many new ideas that are most likely worth pursuing. You tend to neglect repetitive tasks and favor new... Yeah, that fits.
Perfect. Let's find out what your motivation is. In addition to being, of course, the strongest man from Wessex.
Yes, that's a fact. That's not a motivation. I'm just writing all these down.
Oh, no.
That is a
I
statement.
see what your motivation is, and it's great.
What is it?
I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let Indigo say it.
Oh, no.
The suspense. I'm not looking.
I don't even have the thing open. There's character creation, motivation, and ambitions. What do I have? It's
green
the green
X.
X. Come on, it's loading. I got a little... There's a loading.
Second from the bottom.
Escapism. Something traumatic happened in your past. Your primary drivers never returned to that nightmare. Wessex happened.
What? the Wessex massacre.
I am the
happened.
strongest man from Wessex. I am the strongest man from Wessex. Yep.
Well, I feel like I was ejected from Wessex.
Yeah, the second and third most strongest man carried you out of town.
Yep. Oh no! Your former.
Uh-oh.
This is making a story. The next one is your former job, which could have been in Wessex.
It might have been. All right, what is the job you're at?
Social standing. Yours is social standing 2 is where the treble clef
The rune
is.
treble clef.
That
Wait, which one is it? Is it not the
yeah, it's
red?
the red.
It's the red X.
Oh, I'm looking at
Yeah.
the wrong one. I skipped rune.
That-
Never mind.
Also, that is not a triple.
I know it's not. I just couldn't think of anything else that exists.
Oh, that
Where
one would
is
have been
that?
beautiful though.
Oh,
Manufacturer,
Yes.
metal goods. You're once an apprentice. Yeah. So was a blacksmith. That's why I'm strong.
Yep.
I have not kept the business. The business was in Wessex.
Yes. Perfect. And then social connections is the last one. That is the blue. Definitely not a treble clef.
Sorry.
I am aware that's not.
I know an animal farmer.
Took too many years of music to not twitch at that.
All right. Are you doing a name? You said you're not, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I randomly generated one, so I'm not getting out with an easy to pronounce name or anything. It is Wisem Adel.
Perfect.
The strongest man from Wessex.
Yes.
Wisem. Beautiful.
I'm
Yeah,
to...
and
said you're going to be a Galder?
maybe what is the
It's a
what
D5.
is the chart I could be drawing for?
Oh, there is no chart for choosing your archetype. You would roll in this case.
I'd say roll 1 to 15, and that'll get you.
That will get you
between
both
subclasses, too.
your subclass and
1d15 it is.
a 2.
Two.
You
Whatever
are
2 is.
2 would be a Galder sorcerer. So I'm going
Wait,
to.
is there before I lock in sorcerer? Is there a more fighty Golder? Is there
Yes,
more-
the sorcerer is in fact the least fighty Galder.
I'm
no,
gonna
it's not true.
override the roll a little bit and go for a fightier Golder.
The
Is
enchanter is the fightier of Galders.
that fits.
Yep, it's all about. I think it is at least.
I can't remember which one I made.
Well, enchanter fits better with blacksmith than sorcerer does.
That's true, and I think
Yeah.
it'll fit. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna copy and
Yes, I would say.
Me and
the-
my magic sword are the strongest man from Wessex.
Me and my magic sword.
there we go, and I will drag you over to this one. You said your macros aren't quite set up yet. So I'm going to. Well, let's do the next step. I need to make sure that everyone has their runes properly set up, that they have enough of them.
Are we gonna go through Marissa's? Does
Yeah,
she have
I'm
a-
happy to
you are
tell
doing it again?
you of the draw.
Are you gonna draw, or are you just gonna do one that you already made?
We're going through a
I
character already
drew
made, right?
completely randomly for this one, just like
Okay.
you just did. So I'm basically gonna say, here was the draws.
All right, that's fair.
So I drew for personality, entertainer. You love to make others happy. You love excitement and live for the moment. For motivation and ambitions, I got divine worship. Your life is devoted to exalting a higher power, god or jotun, which fit really, really well with the social standing, which was emissary of a demigod.
Oops.
You work for an, I cannot pronounce that word, Einherjar?
Einherjar.
Yes, on Harry
Yeah.
are.
On Harrier. The
Einherjar.
J's are less strong.
Okay, or a son of Moosespell. They are demanding but provide you with support in unexpected ways at the Norns' discretion. Since the start of Ragnarok, you are occasionally called on for dangerous and epic missions that interest higher powers. You start with adventure gear and 800 money. And my social connections here was a mercenary, a sellsword, good for no questions asked, muscle-bound jobs. So,
Okay.
that is where she came in, and the class that I chose, which kind of clashed a little bit with that, I randomly ended up rolling the Seathkona there, so the witch class, basically. Seathkona Mesmer, all about possession.
So we've got a witch, a werewolf, a skald, and the strongest man
The
from
strongest
Wessex.
man from Wessex.
Strongest man from Wessex.
That is the character description in every circumstance.
I chose active, passive, and skills. I don't know what a lot of the numbers and letters mean, but they all sounded very cool.
They are, in my experience. All
So
of
how
them.
did
What is the macro now to get over to my playmat again?
For yours, it's Zen space sheet, and for Indigo, it's
Okay.
Indigo space sheet for the macro.
With capital letters, I assume.
Oh,
Yes, all the
space
same.
sheet. That's why it's not working.
I'm just setting up everyone's
Right.
sheets now.
so? What is my? It's exclamation point MC space boo space dash dash. What is the follow up for my sheet?
Target,
Target.
and then Indigo with a capital I, space sheet with a capital S.
Correct.
So
So each of the runes can be assigned to active powers, passive powers, and skills. Let me make
So
sure.
why is mine not working? What the hell?
you might not have a space after move with the dashes.
I can take
'cause
a
that
look at
should
it.
be-
I cannot see your macros directly, but if you put the macro word for word in chat, I can take a look.
Yeah, with quotation marks around it because otherwise it would just try to do the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, capital. Oh wait.
Exclamation mark MC targets sheet. That should. You might need to reload for it to register the page since it's newly created.
Yeah, yep. That might be.
Ooh, I'm gonna try that.
Reload.
Yeah, because you had mine made because I told you.
Because you knew, I knew
it.
in advance. Who it was
Yeah.
gonna be. Yeah.
Nope.
Interesting.
Hold on, if I go
If
move to playmats.
I'm rejoining as a
Map
player.
Indigo sheet not
Move
found.
page.
Indigo sheet not found is.
Yeah, maps and sheet not found is what I'm getting.
I
Yeah, I'm saying that too as a
just
player.
did get it, and I haven't had this previously set up. At least I don't think
Is it underscore instead of space?
Nope.
No.
No,
Maybe just
I'm gonna
what are the maps actually named? Zen sheet? Is that
Yes. No, your macro was 100% correct. I just joined as a player to test it, and it did not work. So I need to double check if something is happening or if I need to re-register the maps. That might be it.
That's what I did, and it's not working.
That is also correct. So something about it isn't registering the maps.
Oh. maybe just take the second word off just in case it's not liking the space?
Let me do. I'm removing sheet from both.
And playmat. Nope.
Indigo's playmat isn't working either. If that's not,
All
I'm
mine
just
does
restarting.
not work.
I changed this. That's just the name of my macro.
I see. Okay, I've
We're already
removed
on the play. The playmat's not going to work because you're already on the playmat.
Right, but I just changed the name of the macro to
Hmm.
make it so I could get over to my sheet. But yeah,
I have removed sheet from both of yours. So if it doesn't work, then it's something else. There might be an
Maps and
issue.
not found. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still not found.
Okay.
Can you drag me back to it? I got off of it.
Yep, I can just drag you guys to it.
Control
'cause-
F5?
So what do I have to do to make this official? Like, I
So
gotta move.
the first thing I need to do is change the sheets in the background to the right
Yeah.
ones because these are wrong class.
Yeah, I also have like 2 sets of all my runes.
Yes, 3 sets actually.
Ooh,
Yeah, one for each mat.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I was thinking like, there's too many here. I gotta get rid of some of them. Get out of the way so I can see. But it doesn't matter.
Is that Galder? No, Galder's. Just looking through. uploads to find sheets.
Pretty sure Goldr's the first one.
Yeah, there.
I'm already on Scald. Yay.
Yep, I set that up already.
Yeah, so we have a witch, a werewolf, and witch, werewolf, bard, and the strongest man from Wessex.
Really, I'm just looking at it as front man, 2 roadies, and special effects.
Wait, who's the front man?
I am. I'm the fucking hero of renown that sings everything.
So I have to start. How does the? Yeah, let's do a brief overview of how to put these tokens on the tic-tac-toe board.
Yes.
Also, I can't click one of them.
Which one?
The green X.
Okay, let me double check its permissions.
Just that specific token, I could not click.
Just one of the 3 green X's?
No, all 3 green X's are unclickable. They also don't even have their nameplate, and the rest of the runes do. Something's up with the token.
Okay. They do
Oh,
for
is the
me, so
card
I'm just
instead
gonna
of a
remove
token?
them. Nope. On my screen they were not cards. They also did have their nameplate. Does that one work if I just put one back? Can you control that one?
No.
Okay.
I can control it if
If you drag and
Yeah,
drop
you
it, yeah.
choose it out of the thing, yeah.
Oddly enough, the name is important in a way, because that's what the character sheet is referencing. The character sheets don't show pictures of the room. That's why I'm having pictures everywhere.
but I can only pull one out of the deck.
I'm wondering if it might have.
There we go. Can you move this one now? The top right.
Yes, I can move the one on the top right.
Okay, I'm going to copy it 3 times. And we're good. It's just that the permissions were correct.
How do I put the runes? I'm so confused about this.
Yeah.
Trying to get it back in the deck at this point.
I got it. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I can move these guys around. So I got to put. Do I have to put one in the middle? Do I start like bingo?
So you do not need to put a rune in the middle, but for each of these, you work out from the middle. Frankly, the skill one is the easiest one, even if it's last. Each of the I put passive powers twice for you, Indigo. Let me fix that.
Yeah. So what I want to remember about this is you can't move diagonally. You can just go over and up, and all of the rooms have to touch like dominoes.
Correct.
So there's a mini game in designing your skills, which I appreciate.
Yes, there is.
And you can't actually go to the gray border.
The gray border is not accessible right now. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Spencer,
So
Yes.
have a moment. Can I get
which rune goes down matters, right? Like color and shit-wise.
For active
Yeah.
abilities, you need that specific rune to use that active ability. For passive abilities, I don't think it matters. For skills, in combat, because combat and in combat out of combat is a big difference here, and skill checks are done differently. In combat, when doing a skill check, you get an extra bonus for drawing the rune that is the specific one you assigned to that skill.
Gotcha. Okay.
Marissa, what's up?
If I could have runes, that would also be nice.
Okay.
Not that they're not already in the board, but
What are your runes? I don't think you actually mentioned them.
do
Just
you
tell
recall
me the
them all?
names and it's good.
Yep. Burkano.
Okay.
Pertho. I'll go slow. Tell me when.
There's Pertho, okay.
Wunjo. Fehu and Iwo.
There's Fehu. There's Ewo. These 5. You're on the thing and are on the
Yes, it's just covering. That looks right to me.
I have to redo some runes because I didn't know we didn't put one in the middle. I didn't know it was free bingo space.
Yep, it is a free space.
What page is this on? Like assigning rune?
In the book? I can go check.
Page 146 in the book.
You're wonderful.
Choosing powers and skills, step 5.
Okay.
Download it.
This do.
So, if you guys have any questions about what these mean, please ask. There are glossaries. There is, if you want to just choose it because it's cool, that's perfectly acceptable, especially
That's
for first
what I'm doing.
characters.
Yeah, I
Okay,
I don't
so-
know all the like perform a weak attack with a +1 P and QRs. I don't know what those mean. I'm just picking things that sound cool and have cool out of combat effects for my act.
Yep, that's fine. That just means you perform a slightly weaker than average attack, but then do an extra thing.
Hmm.
Everything rounds up unless it specifies,
In this game.
which is very helpful in some things and not helpful in others. Where is that thing that I picked?
Where is? I just found an ability called Death Charge.
That's correct.
Yes, I was playing with that
I
a
wish
bit.
I could change the size of this. See.
Is there something that needs to be changed? I can help with.
No, I just can't see past the rune to what it's on after I place it.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah. You will add each ability to your character sheet, which does help. But yeah, those ones are slightly bigger. Actually, let me see if I can fix that by increasing the size of the sheets themselves. Then that might.
Now,
I
for
have so many runes.
so, for example, if I was going for these Muspelli nightmares,
Yeah.
the color of the rune indicates area open or amplify.
No.
No.
Nope.
The color or the initial.
Each rune can be modified by when you play it. Each ability by placing more runes next to it. It's like everyone has meta magic. Everyone can play additional runes to modify abilities. All abilities have that. The reason that the Scald has so many of those listed on there is because they are the non-default ones. Some are stronger than others.
Gotcha.
So the color of the rune matters, as if you put it on a red one, you're going to have one less opportunity to draw a red rune to modify it in that way. Because it's already out
Gotcha.
there.
Wait, could you? So, for the active abilities, when you draw a rune, that's like what active ability you can use, and then there's also. So if you wanted to do like, let's say, Flygia's Touch, it's a channeling thing. If you add a red rune, it's a combo. If you add a blue rune, it's area. If you add a green rune, it's amplify.
Yep.
Yes. You can also add multiple runes. You cannot add the same rune to it multiple times. I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can add like 3 different red runes if they amplify. I think you're allowed to do that.
So, what about other question, vaguely related?
Okay.
Skills have ranks. Have ranks? How does that work?
Skills have ranks. Each time you get a skill, it starts at rank 1 and then gets up. Otherwise, you just don't have it. Basically,
So it starts at 1. Okay.
When you do a skill check, you are given a number of draws of a certain color of rune that you need to do it. And each rank you have in a skill gives you automatically one free draw, one free success. You need a certain number of successes. That is the shorthand version of it, because the game decides to explain it in only skill checks or explained in reverse. It's like to hit AC 0 kind of stuff.
Yep.
It's that they only explain it for skill checks. It's like it's difficulty this, and then each success lowers the difficulty until you succeed at difficulty 0. It's this weird. It's unintuitive to me. In short, it's just you need a number of successes. Draw the runes to get successes. Free successes from having proficiency in the skills.
Okay, so putting in my active abilities on my character sheet, I say what rune it is, what the active ability is, and then it says type, so that's in the book.
Yes, that's what you'll have to start
okay.
referencing in the book. It'll say the type of ability. It'll say what its metas are, which are the things that you use to modify them.
Right.
One thing I also strongly suggest doing is nowhere in this character sheet is there actually a place to put what the thing does.
Yeah, just put like
is
a
it going
page
to do a
number.
hit? So I've created a chart and just put it into the first biography notes, because that means that we can reference it without looking it up 50 million times in the book.
Correct. If you press the check mark next to one, it will next to an ability. It will show a whole bunch of things you can add, including one is just a text field. Yeah, the checkmark on
Yeah,
the right.
Yeah.
The checkmark on the left means it is active, and it'll calculate it into your character, the modifiers. The modifiers are shown on the checkmark on the right.
Okay.
Wait, where's the active one? I'm missing all these check marks.
It's in the character sheet itself. It is the first double column section with the.
Oh, I'm adding all of my skills. So the rune active is the like powers one.
Powers, yes.
Okay. All right, I'll get there in a second.
Okay.
So
I
these
think I
runes
set this
are
up right before I start copying this down.
Looking at
can you
you,
just take a
Zen,
look?
yes, everything looks good. One thing to note, we actually skipped this. It was in the handout. Is you guys each get a specialization. Every character starts with a void rune. That's player characters only. It's basically a free bonus rune you get to play every single round. But it's also assigned based on your specialization. So, I think
It's not going to get you extra runes on this thing, but you're going to be using it a lot in combat.
it is going to also be the most used thing you do. So, Indigo, you wanted to be an enchanter, the physical one.
Yes.
So the void rune gets assigned to the type physical. Let me actually show everyone this specific thing so you can see.
So it's
where
ability
it is.
type physical.
Ability type is physical for the void rune.
It doesn't. It says void. It doesn't have that.
Ability type is not physical. There's
Not ability type. I'll show you how to
that'll
place it on the
depend on
character
what
sheet
it's
later.
attached to.
Yeah. But I'm showing everyone this handout. You will see the 3 specializations at the very bottom. The left of the 3 columns is the physical version of the Galder. It just means that when it comes to skill checks or other things, the Void Rune counts as a physical rune for all intents and purposes, and is one you always have access to each round. It also gives you the ability to use the ability Beckon Yggdrasil.
So that's my active void rune ability.
Yes, that's your active void rune ability, and then the passive ability and skill it grants you.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. Wow, so I'm a spiritual boy.
Yep. So everyone will have their own, and they are in each of their things.
And when you
Now,
get a skill, oh, here you go first.
I was gonna say, is there any point to like what is the min maxer's way of choosing this? Is I think the best way to phrase the question.
I don't think it's that simple, actually.
Okay.
It is that simple when it comes to the active powers. The passive powers, yeah, and the skills are a little bit harder because it depends on what you're hoping to draw in combat. I don't think it matters as much. I haven't looked into it enough.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I'm going mystic. Okay.
You're going with what type of specialization?
Mystic.
Nice.
Well, my void is
Because I just like the names of these songs so much that I'm like, I'm gonna play into those. Why not? Devour Thought. I want to devour thought. Melody of Discord. I'm all about that.
Jordan,
so the skills, so the skills when you get it, they start at rank 1, right?
Yes. So you get it, and then it becomes rank 1.
Okay, got it.
And then get it multiple times, goes up 1 rank each.
Got
there is
it.
most of the skills are fairly straightforward. There is one skill that I think some of you may have called the Scorn Pole.
Yep.
What? Scorn pole?
I got the scorn pole.
Okay.
Dude.
So the scorn, everything else is fairly straightforward. The Scorn Pole skill. Rune Scorn Pole. This skill bestows the knowledge of how to create an enchanted, dismembered head that will curse the people it faces. Usually the head of a horse is used, and mounted on a 6-foot pole that is inscribed with arcane runes. It is then staked on the ground facing a person's home. That person will suffer +1 difficulty on all skill checks while under the influence of this curse. This rating will increase by +1 for every 2 extra successes you get. The better you do, the worse the curse is. Then it's like default difficulty. They will know something is amiss once their fortune turns sour. The only way of lifting this curse is to destroy the scorn pole, so you'd also want to probably hide it.
Another skill that is a little bit weird is Silent Tongue, which is basically...
I have that one.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that's basically the ability to communicate with anyone else who actually also has that ability, like across a
Thieves'
clearing.
Cant.
You have thieves.
It's basically-
You
Yeah.
speak the secret language of chaos.
But the
Yes.
higher-
You hope that someone other than just
Yeah,
you has
the
it.
higher the skill is, the farther away you can communicate. I think at level 1, you can only communicate with someone like 25 feet away.
Correct.
Because it also says like you use smell and other
So
things.
This isn't thieves' cant. This is magic CV radio.
It's druid cant is what it feels like.
It's like druid stuff, yeah.
But it's CV radio because you could talk across the plains to someone else with your magic secret language.
Yeah, not that far away. 75 feet at the max of the example. It's not actually a maximum. But yeah, everything else is fairly straightforward.
I'd say the thing that is least straightforward is the different conditions and how they work.
Yeah,
Sure.
conditions
We're
will...
gonna talk about
we'll get to that when
conditions
we
some
get to
other time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When someone gets stabbed, we'll bring up the conditions book.
I multiply.
That's what Alabaster Magician does. That's weird. Okay.
What does that do?
So it mentions a thing called a minor sacrifice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you will pay some of the cards from your deck to go into the smallest stun, which is the smallest type of wound you can get, in order to get a bonus to all of the effects of your spells. The thing is, once per round, you can recover those, and there are many abilities that will make you recover more than one. So it's sort of this weird, like, you're paying it, but you might literally instantly get it back.
Yeah, so during upkeep, pay a minor sacrifice +2 to gain a focus +1 for the combat round.
Yep. That will make sense once you know what those are.
I'm sure it will.
Focus is basically add one number to all the numbers on your spells. So
Yes.
if you do 2 damage, now you have focus, you do 3.
I also have this thing called Fellowship of the Magic Eye. When in a group, your spells are more potent.
Ooh.
Hey.
Nice.
When adjacent to 4 or more allies, which I only have 3 standing here, so
We gotta find a friend.
Including
I've got a
Thanes,
son.
though. We can bring Thanes. We're good.
Yeah, we gotta
Perform
find a friend.
minor sacrifice +1 during upkeep to grant a focus +1 to yourself or an ally until the end of your turn. So I can jam
Yeah.
focus into stuff. That's
good.
nice. I just
One of-
chose it because it sounded cool.
Yeah.
One of the lovely things about choosing equipment is they can give you defense, but there are some equipment or weapons that also give you focus.
Yep.
Just wonderful.
This passive focus the entire time. So you'll have spells that'll do, like, normally it's like a damage or 2, and now it's up to like 5.
And I also
Okay.
took this thing that says when I affect when I'm affected with a spell song, I gain +3 move.
That's really
Carried by
good.
song.
Normally, everyone's default move is 4, so +3 is almost double.
And warrior song
With
thing.
exception of when a werewolf turns into a werewolf.
Oh yeah, then it becomes
Those things
12.
can move.
Yeah, you like I just moved away from it. But the
You're-
werewolf form, blood wolf form is you howl and change into the form of a giant wolf, the size of a horse. Anything
Yep.
inanimate you wear and carry becomes part of your new shape. Shape change into a giant blood wolf. You lose your weapons and armor absorbed into the new form, but gain size +2, quadruped movement. See page 129. I haven't looked at that yet. PF +2. Don't know what that means. Oh, PF +2P. Attack actions are a blood drinker bite that deals +3P damage and self heal +2. The heal only triggers on the first attack of the round. All passive and active powers remain unchanged. Passive powers have to be applied to new attributes. So what does that mean exactly? Like,
So, to go over some of that, you grow to size 6. That means you have 6 movement. You have
Oh.
quadruped movement. That doubles your movement. So you have
Oh.
12 movement.
I'm actually going to double check that.
That
last
was a
bit.
specific example, but okay.
Yes, I'm going to double check that. I know movement and size. Movement starts based on your size, which starts at 4. I don't know if movement continues to change based on your size. After creation is done, anything in creation that in character creation that increases your size also increases your movement.
So we're all medium characters for the purposes of instruments of
everyone
death?
and the character sheets themselves default to
Size
4 speed and movement.
Okay.
Another thing you mentioned was PF.
Yeah,
is
PF.
protection factor. That is just passive.
Okay.
They hit you, negate X amount of damage that they would have done.
It's
if
physical
you had
armor.
PF this.
Okay.
The PF and then the P at the end of that is saying you have 2 protection factors specifically against physical damage, not spiritual, not mental.
Okay. And then Blood Drinker Bite that also deals plus 3p, which I assume is physical.
Yep.
And Self Heal plus 2.
Yep. So when you deal damage, that requires an entirely different area chart of the board to explain. So I'm going to.
Okay. I have other abilities that heal me. So does that mean that's not affected by my Blood Wolf form? Like it says, all passive and active powers remain unchanged.
Yeah, when you're in your Blood Wolf form, you can still do whatever you want. You don't have to use that Blood Drinker Bite. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
It's just that's the weapon you're wielding when you attack, I think, is what it...
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
Because
Because I noticed some of
occasionally-
them said like weapons in the active or passive abilities, and I kind of stayed away from weapon stuff because I'm going to be biting things.
No, you always have a weapon. Your weapon still counts as your fists if you're doing that.
Or your fangs and claw.
Okay.
So, it looks
Got
like
everything
Marissa
added down.
is right. It's just flat out everyone by default will move a number of hexes equal to their size. So your size gets increased to 6 when you turn into a werewolf, so you can move 6 hexes, and quadruped doubles that, so you can move 12 hexes.
Nice.
It's not just during character creation.
Question: it's basic gear. Does that like clothes and shit?
Yeah, I have an equipment folder.
It says gear and governance basic gear, but that doesn't tell me what basic gear is.
Right under basic gear should be...
It's right on. All right, I got it. It's 2 sets of clothes right there. Winter furs, check. Snowshoes or skis. I obviously have skis. Backpack.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I found it.
Perfect.
Oh, hold on. I have trade gear.
So
You have.
I'll open the
utility
gear and
plus a
governance
cart.
handout.
Thank you.
Trade gear includes all utility gear, which is right above it, which includes all basic gear, which is right above it.
Oh God. Okay.
So you get basically everything down to and including the trade gear section.
Do I add that all to my equipment, or is that something I put in my notes?
It's up to you. I don't think any of this will ever become relevant for your like stat-wise. So I would
put
put it in
weapons
notes.
and armory and equipment. That usually is.
Yep. But you
I
do not
have
start
none.
with any, and do not need any.
I start with a merchant cart / sleigh and an animal.
But don't you have a bunch of? Don't you have money too?
You do
I have
actually have
600
money. You can
scat.
spend the money.
You could do that. You could buy yourself a sword if you want a sword.
Or armor. Other things.
I'm probably gonna buy a sword and a shield. 'Cause that seems like something the strongest man from
well-
Wessex needs.
Okay, so
Size and weapons and armor.
because with my blood wolf form, outside of combat, I could just turn into it, right?
Yes, it should say on it like
Yeah,
it has
does.
an in-com and out-of-com effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of combat, switch into wolf form whenever you need to.
Yep. Now remember, it's a horse-sized wolf, so you won't exactly blend
It's
in.
a big wolf. Yeah, that's fair.
So you're gonna buy a
Um,
saddle for yourself too, so one of us can ride you into combat.
That's my chameleon cover.
Is that what the renowned hero rides a wolf into battle?
The strongest man from Wessex and his trustful steed.
Strongest man from Wessex needs no help.
Oh God!
I do not need a steed. I am the strongest man from Wessex.
Wait, why can't I edit this?
So I believe my thing said I start with adventure gear. Does that mean all of that?
I
look at
think
your
adventure gear
governance.
is different.
Adventure
it's all
gear-
utility gear.
If you look down to adventure gear, it says all utility gear, which is up a ways.
Hmm.
And then one spectacular weapon, which basically gives you a bonus to either damage or parry, which is
Mhm.
basically 1 damage reduction when you use an action to defend. and a suit of armor. Completely your choice what type.
Nice. So,
One
since
thing to-
all utility gear also includes all basic gear,
Yep.
that means I have all of that shit too?
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, no, you
One
guys start
thing
with
to
a
note-
decent amount of stuff.
One thing to note about armor and size. If you're wearing armor that is equal to your size 4, it's minus 1 hex of movement, so you'll only be able to move 3, not more. If you're wearing armor that is more than your size, so size 5, then your movement is just straight up halved.
Which is
What
also
if I'm
just
wearing
minus 2.
size 3?
Then it has no effect. You will move
No effect.
full 4 hexes.
Cool.
The same thing is sort of the same for weapons. If you're wielding a one-handed weapon that is the same size as you, so 4 or up, you have to play a physical room to attack with it.
I don't think you
If
can
it's-
wield a higher size than you in one hand, is what it is.
Probably.
So I can wield a long sword with no difficulty as a one-handed. Is a long sword a one-handed weapon? I don't know.
And not in this, I
I
think,
don't know.
actually. A long sword
I'm
in
gonna
this. So, there are 2 types of attacks, or attacks depending on the type of weapon you're wielding. You can either play any rune to attack. This is a basic attack, not a special ability. Or you, depending on the weapon, will need to play specifically a physical rune to attack with it. Smaller weapons will need any rune. Larger weapons will need physical. This is specifically mentioned somewhere in the combat rules, I think, basically. But you're all size 4.
Size and shape.
So anything in the first table of Instruments of Death, size 3, can attack one-handed, any type, any rune. Size 4, one-handed, must use physical, which includes the longsword.
How does shields factor in? If I have a size
Shields-
Page 130.
Yes, page 130. If you're wearing a larger size shield, it counts as one of the weapons you're attacking with, so you would need to also play a physical, even if you had a smaller weapon. So I'd go with...
trying to make my. All right.
I try to make
Well,
both
for-
the same size, probably.
Okay. Reinforced shield, just so I could just always be ready to fight.
And then two-handed is a higher limit, basically, for what those thresholds are.
Here's a clarification point that I'd like to check with Spencer. If you have a technically one-handed weapon, can you wield that in 2 hands?
Yes, I think. You can wield a dagger in 2 hands.
Yeah. It's kind of a matter of, look, it's size 4, but I'm wielding it in 2 hands.
Yeah,
I
no,
can
you're
use any
fine. If you're
rune."
wielding in 2 hands, then it's any rune if it's size 4. And 5.
Sounds good.
I think it's 5.
Okay. What am I? Not really a swordy kind of guy, but I'd like to have one.
Yep.
You
You
don't
could
have- you could
also
get
get a quarterstaff that gives you free focus every turn.
I got a ceremonial knife that gives free focus every turn.
Yeah,
and
sorry, not a
that works
quarterstaff. A quarterstaff is
wonderfully.
reach.
Great.
It does. Ceremonial dagger. An ash staff is real big, expensive, but gives you 2 focus every turn.
And then what is focus again?
All of your
spells.
spells, which are not physical attacks, will get a bonus to their numbers. So a +1 focus will mean that 3 will go to a 4 on a spell. Sometimes it's damage, sometimes it's other things.
Alternatively, you can spend all your money and go for the broad. Did I just go for the? I don't think I'm strong enough. I don't have.
Broadsword. Get a
I was-
broadsword.
That's what I was thinking. There's a broadsword. Like, do I need it? I might need it.
But you're the strongest man from Wessex.
I might
Yeah.
need a broadsword to represent that fact.
Hmm?
But that's size 5, so that means I'm slow as hell because I'm carrying a massive sword.
Nope.
It means you need
Uh,
more
uh,
physical room
Armor
to
will
use it.
slow you down. The sword will just be harder for you to hit things.
If you're wielding the broadsword in 2 hands, it'll actually still be any color of because
Go
it's,
for-
it's
well,
size
broadsword
6 that will require physical, even if it's in 2 hands.
So
I
a
think the
longbow.
broadsword might be the answer for my character, just for thematic reasons.
Yes, a longbow.
A longbow, 2-handed. Does that still require multiple runes?
It does not require. It can work with anyone. Yeah, because it's 2-handed. I'm gonna
Nice.
double check this.
I
Okay.
can verify.
I have decided I'm going to keep my business because I only have 1 physical rune that I can draw to have it be destroyed. So I'm hoping I get at least a couple months of that sweet, sweet scat.
Even if you're not at home, you've hired, an assistant to watch over it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm
Wonderful.
trying to die a glorious death of Valhalla, but I can't do that if I starve in the street. So he's running my stall while I'm out trying to die.
Great.
I'm
Why do
so
I have a
excited about
feeling
my
that-
broadsword.
I could imagine just the eye-rolling teenager of Vikingdom is just there, like,
Broadsword.
Oh wait, what? Okay.
Why do I have a
so-
feeling that most of this game is going to boil down to hold my beer moments? Because we're all trying to die.
Okay, is there like a gear list other than the gear and governance stuff, like to buy?
There's instruments
Yeah.
of
The
death,
entire
sundered
folder.
armor,
Equipment,
gear,
page
yeah.
301.
Gear and governance is just
Oh.
basic gear. Sundered armor, instruments of death, and other necessities are the other 3 tables.
There's also a section there for
Okay.
item terms, a handout for item terms of what
Yeah.
the heck they mean. But PF is protection factor, it's armor. DF is damage.
Okay.
One
Armor,
question I
kind of.
have is, we have no sun. Exactly how much are we going to have to track lanterns, candles, yada yada yada? Do we need to be
The
buying
answer
a
is
bunch of
yes
those?
and no, because the items themselves are not actually, I don't think, specific. They're not that specific. I think it's just like each thing of lantern oil is about an hour of light, which means you would want a lot of it, but you also do have a literal cart with you.
Yeah, we could throw oil on. Yeah, between the broadsword and a leather vest, that's like all but $50 for me. So I think that's my kit.
Yeah.
I got my pack
this
with all
is-
my stuff in it, and I got my big ass sword, and I got my little leather vest. That's what the strongest man of Westeros brings to the table.
I think for this, it's going to likely come across as narrativist survival rather than specifically resource tracking survival. There will be some resource tracking, but not a massive amount. Yeah.
Of which, if any of you guys decide your gods are going to worship any, or your characters are going to worship any sort of god, please let me know. I'm trying desperately to work something in, but when I was reading the gods, I'm like, all of these people are just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A big problem with Norse mythology is because of Christian monks destroying a bunch of stuff. There's really only a few stories to go off of. It's like if you have all of the Greek mythology stuff, and then you take a big shredder and you stick half of it in the shredder and be like, burp. And like a lot of the gods have no stories about them because their books didn't make it through up
Yeah.
until now. So they're like most of the stories are about Thor beating up Loki, and that's like half of what's available.
Yeah.
Thor beats
Yeah.
up Loki, Loki does something dumb, Thor beats up Loki because of the dumb thing, Loki does something else. That's like 90% of it's the majority. I keep changing it. It is the majority of available epics, or what, I forget what the Norse term is, but the majority of the
Sagas.
available sagas or whatever is about Thor and Loki and their exploits.
Yeah.
So it's like all of the Marvel superheroes, but you just get Iron Man and the Hulk. That's it. You don't get the rest of them are in the stories in the background, but it's like you can't access that part of the comic book shop. You could only see them in cameos in Thor and Loki stories.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, I might need help with gear because now I see numbers and names and I'm confused.
I've
Okay.
been putting him in the description. PF is protection, so it's the armor rating. Damage is the opposite. I think reach is important, but probably just like 1 or 2.
Reach is
Harry's-
important if it is more than 1, because
Yeah,
I assume it's 1, otherwise you have to be next to someone.
yeah, they all have reach 1.
What are you looking at, Jordan?
Because I feel like
No, 0 is
Either-
a reach 2. 0 is a reach 2.
If you have a reach of 0, your weapon shouldn't be working anymore.
Ceremonial daggers have a reach of 0. Metal shields have a reach of 0. So you can't
Yeah.
attack with a reach of 0.
Exactly. Yep.
okay.
Okay.
I was
And
looking
then-
at maybe like a warhammer or like a hand axe.
Okay.
There's both of those.
So
And
yeah,
then parry is the defense that you get, but only if you're actually using the defense action.
yeah.
So you gotta
Basically,
Yeah.
when someone else attacks you, you can spend a rune during their turn to reduce the damage of the attack, sometimes to 0.
How often can I just be a wolf? Like, how is that possible? Like, is that possible
Mhm.
to be a wolf in almost every combat?
It depends when you draw it. On the one combat I drew on my wolf character, I drew it first thing and spent the entire combat as a wolf, no problem.
Mm.
However, if I hadn't drawn that right up and I'd been unlucky and that rune had gotten damaged, I might never have been able to turn into a wolf.
When you take damage, one of your runes, usually one at least, is randomly drawn from your deck and placed into the damage section, which means you don't have access to that rune until it's healed. If you are unlucky enough, it could be the werewolf turning rune. So
Okay. So it's good to have armor and a weapon, even though.
even though you plan to
Okay.
be a werewolf, yes.
I understand this is probably for balance reasons. Why the hell is a sling $100? Why is a piece
Because-
of leather and a rock $100?
because
Piece of leather and a rock.
Because
I
it's
can
the
make it with an old
apocalypse.
sock.
Because leather is rare now. That's
I can make it
why
with my
all
old
of the
socks, though.
See, I'd argue
no
that,
no wool
except I
plants
think
are
that-
growing. Everything is being reused. Even I think why a sundered armor is called sundered armor, because there is nothing newly forged. It's just salvaged now. This is a post-apocalyptic medieval Viking thing.
It's almost
No,
like
that's
you
not a
have
good reason, but that's as
I
best
have
as
a
I got.
blacksmith.
Yeah,
I understand
because
it's
you have 100 scat worth of leather that you're making into these things because they constantly wear out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm assuming it does all. If it covers, I guess, infinite maintenance on it, it's definitely a balancing mechanic, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just an outrageously expensive amount for a piece of leather and a rock.
Yeah.
Really
And
nice
then-
rocks.
And then if you wanted to attack, how does an attack go? Do you draw a rune to attack?
You don't just draw randomly. You have the number that's your destiny.
Yeah,
You draw
it's like a deck
pre-drawn.
builder. You have a hand.
Oh,
You have a hand.
You have a deck builder hand that you play.
And
And
then
you lose
can
cards from your deck.
choose which actions to play, which ones to rune to spend to modify your other actions in metas, which ones to save for defends
Defense.
if you're going to get attacked, and sometimes which ones to prepare, because there's a thing called contingency, which basically is a prepared action.
But I don't have a hand. My hand is 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your hand is 3
Your hand
or whatever.
is
your
your
divinity.
hand is your destiny plus your void rune.
Yes, you always get your void rune.
Oh,
So
okay.
Indigo
you
You
actually
always
have
have
two.
your void rune.
I have one. I have void plus one other.
Yep.
The whole time. It's just whatever I draw, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I have a lot of places to go.
Okay.
So
okay.
That's why I wanted to be able to fight with any runes in my hand. That's why I wanted to make sure
That's
that I'm not
important.
hampering myself because I only have the one in the void. It's like whatever I do, I have to be able to swing my broadsword.
yeah, so you
Out
do
of
things.
curiosity, is your void rune physical?
Your
Oh,
void rune, Indigo's void rune is physical, I think.
It's a what is it?
You're the
My
enchanter.
void rune is Beckon Yggdrasil, rune dispel. At least that's what the
I think
Just above
yeah,
it, though. So, one thing that here's where you put it. Just to the right of the level section is this weird field. Right, actually, it's in front of the void rune picture. Then you can put P, M, or S depending on what type of void rune it is, and that'll help you remember.
Oh, okay. Right next to the little like blank rune.
Yes,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
just to the right of level. And that depends on
Okay.
what you specialize in. Indigo, yours is physical. So you will always have a physical rune every turn. That void rune can never be removed from you.
where is the where I don't know where this is. I bet
It's all the way at the top of your sheet, right next to your level. There's like a blank little slot.
Just to the
I don't
right of
have
level. It blends in because it is literally blending. into the
Oh,
white
I
field.
see it. It's on the rock. Yeah.
It's on the
Yeah.
I can't click on it.
I can put it in for you.
I think just for armor and weapons, I'll just take medium armor, and
Oh, it's
Uh,
a overlap problem. It like overlapped onto the size one just because of the way I have the sheet scaled.
I see.
Like it moves when you scale the sheet.
oh, they spell armor with a U.
Oh, I see it. That's weird.
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's a sheet building problem.
It's
where
that
it's like
thing
it's
is.
not tagged to the background. It's on the.
Someone went out of their way to make that. Yeah.
It feels like it's not they went out of their way. It's just
no, it's just they positioned it in absolute, so it just scales. It's just like to the right of the sheet. Why is it not to the left? They should change it to the left instead, because that's always static.
Yeah, it's probably some dumb little error. If this feels like something they added on later, it's like, oh, we should put a field for that on the sheet. Let's put it on top of that white space on the void rune, and they just did it real fast.
Yeah,
and it's like it just worked on their screen. They didn't like mess around with scaling.
Are
Community
there
created
any
sheets.
other useful items to buy?
Other necessities has things like clothes and stuff if you don't have any, though I think you all start with them.
I
Yeah.
do.
You can buy
sure.
more provisions like dried rations. You can buy what is called questing tools and crafting materials, miscellaneous items, potions of healing.
Oh, where are those?
Under other necessities and the table called miscellaneous items.
Ah, I see.
I cannot afford any of the tools of my cresting. I can buy
Ah.
neither a hammer, an
I've got-
anvil, or a forge.
It's okay, you're
I've
not a
got
blacksmith
so
anymore.
much shit. Like
I
how do you-
know, it's like I have $800 and nothing to spend it on.
Oh,
I've
I
got
had 500, and
430 left, but yeah,
most of it went to my sword.
I bought a
Yeah.
short bow because why not? Does that need arrows?
Nope,
Do I have to
there's-
track
you don't
that?
have to track arrows.
Nice.
Okay. I think
Like
I'm the
any
only one
good
that has a
game.
blunt weapon, so if we need to bop a thing, I could bop a
For
thing.
fighting
I can cave it
skeletons.
you can cave in a skull with a broadsword. It may not
That's
be
fair.
mechanically the thing, but it's
Yeah.
a big piece of metal. If you hit something with it hard enough, it's gonna cave
It's
in.
just a different sized hammer, different shapes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and then so for I think you mentioned this, but my brain was melting. So the size is 4 for the Warhammer. Can I also have a metal shield? Or is it Warhammer? Okay.
You-
Depends
I don't think
how
it-
many hands you have. Is the Warhammer
I-
one-handed?
I mean, you can. No weapon
it
is
says
forced
size
one-handed.
4.
4 or lower, you can wield it in one hand. If it's size 4 and it's in one hand, then you would need to play a physical rune to attack with it.
Ooh, then I'm not, because I only have one physical rune. I'm double-handing a Warhammer.
Okay, but if you're double-handing something, you can actually wield something up to size 5, and still play any color rune.
Oh.
It's just size 6, two-handed, requires a physical, but size 5
What's
two-handed
a-
does
what-
not.
What's a flamberge?
Oh, flamberges
It's-
are great.
one bear. Yeah.
Have you not seen the chart of all of the polearms? It's one of those.
No.
It's
flame-
a
Oh,
wiggly
it's a big
sword.
sword.
It's a big
wiggly sword.
Big wiggly sword.
Big wiggle sword.
Was that a level 6? How big is
That's
the
5.
That's 5.
Oh, do I need a
Uh,
flamberge or a flamberge doesn't really fit with the
Mm,
Strongest man in Wessex.
strongest man from Wessex because it's less of an opposing sword and more of a weird statement piece weapon.
And it is actually practical because it makes wounds that don't close easily. Like you
Yeah, but
can't
that's-
stitch it shut.
yeah,
That's
I'm
why they
not a
made it
pro-
that way.
I'm not a practical man. I am the strongest man from Wessex. So you missed my character statement.
oh.
If I was the most practical man from
I
Wessex,
mean, it
probably-
might be practical to be the strongest man in Wessex. I don't know how you live.
Okay.
See, for broadsword purpose, have you seen those? I'm gonna have to check historical timelines. I'm thinking I'm totally wrong, and this is silly and doesn't matter. But have you seen the German 4-foot-long knives from the period of time in medieval Germany where they weren't allowed to carry a sword? So they had a 4-foot-long knife that was blunt for like 7/8 of the back half of it, because knives can only have blades on one side and a little bit on a point.
Mhm.
So that's what the sword was, and it was long sword length. But
That's
it was
just-
a knife.
That is the sword
There's-
equivalent of, like, do not put this grape juice under your cupboard for several, like, weeks, or it will turn into wine during the
Buildings
Prohibition.
cannot have swords, but you can have a 4-foot knife with a crossguard that goes in a sheath.
Yeah,
That's
no.
okay.
So, balancing wise on the money side, I was just going through other necessities. Now, it's $100 to have a sling. It's only 90 to have a skiff, which is like a little
It's
rowboat.
boat. Ooh, a tent would be useful. Heck, how many people fit in a tent?
The tents are very useful because it's snowing and cold outside, and I think the answer is 2, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Um,
have no idea.
I think I
Oh,
remember
do I
something
have
said that.
snowshoes?
No, I
Oh,
don't
wait.
have anything
I
like
think-
that. Why wouldn't I start with a tent? I have all this shit. I have a small,
have-
modest home.
Yeah, I have a house for.
I have active power. Hold on. I think yes. So hamstring lets me like go for the legs and makes them like go slow or whatever. But the out of combat effect is you understand the perils of losing your mobility. You have found a way to decrease the burden of moving through water and snow. Do I need
Nice.
snowshoes at that point then?
Yeah, it's part of utility gear. Snowshoes. Snowshoes
Oh.
or
You have
skis. You have snowshoes and
I already
or
have
skis.
them.
Yeah. The strongest bet. I have skis because I like the idea of skiing.
And then
Okay, it doesn't say how much a tent. I'm gonna say 2 people for a tent.
okay,
And that's squeezing.
I've got one. Yeah, I've got my own because
okay.
I'm a hero of renown.
Yeah.
I will also buy a tent.
My tent has branding on it.
I'm spending my extra money on torches, blankets, and a thing of brandy.
Okay, and then so like with melee weapons, you could buy a longbow or a short bow and not have to use a physical rune because you're two-handing it.
Correct.
Okay, I might as well buy a longbow.
One thing that should be noted is one of the passive moves states that it removes the rune for, drawing your weapon or changing your weapon. So it does seem like if you are switching in between weapons in the middle of combat, that is going to cost a rune.
It is implied due to that switching weapons does cost a rune if you're planning to use different weapons. Yeah. Doing most things will cost a rune in combat if it's narrative or if it is what is it? If you're moving, you play any color rune. Most of the time, it's any color. It doesn't matter. Attacking is the only one that requires a specific rune color, with a few other much less used exceptions.
I need to jump this really big pit in the middle of combat.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be physical, not spiritual.
Or it might be a skill check.
Okay.
Potentially.
Oh, do we talk? What kind of animal can I have for my cart?
Well, looking at the animals here, you could have a chicken pull your cart, but more realistically, I see
flock of pigeons pulling the cart.
I see an ox here. I actually don't. Oh, there's horses as well.
It says horse or horse, ox, etc. Can I have like a big Tibetan Mastiff pull my cart?
I was thinking a surly ox would be an appropriate companion.
I think an ox. I think you'd need something that has a
werewolf.
lot of fur. I don't think the Mastiff would do well here.
I think the old man farmer werewolf with it's like his ox that used to pull the plow that
Oh.
now moves the.
If any of you have a spare 300 scat, you can also buy a hunting falcon /hawk.
Yeah, I just saw that. I was like, I need to put back those potions of healing.
Oh, hold on. I could buy
Yeah.
if I don't take because you have a longbow, right, Zen?
A short bow I went with, but yeah.
If I could buy one minor potion of healing and have 70 scat left over for whatever.
I think you're our
To note
range
with those-
combatant.
I'm not the
Potion.
range combatant.
No, you're the rusher.
No, but you want, if you're ever trapped and unable to close, you want to be able to be effective. So
That's true. I think I'll take it. If I take a short bow, I can't buy anything else.
Marissa?
I mean, it's up to you, definitely.
Were you going to say something, Marissa?
Meh. We're
Okay.
good.
Okay, I'll take the short bow. You've convinced me. I need a ranged option.
I've been playing way too many tactical RPGs lately where I'm like, oh, I'm the guy with a sword and that guy's up on a hill.
Yeah,
Shit.
if we're talking about, I'm just gonna read real fast my passive ability list. It's tactical advantage, fleet-footed, rune of shielding, rune of reinforcement, die hard, rune of blood, rune of retribution. It's very.
Lots of runes.
So I think you have a few. Yeah, those are good. I think tactical
Those are all
advantage.
passive.
You'll be also very mobile. I think because I think tactical
Yeah.
advantage means you get a free movement.
The strongest man from Wessex is in fact a warrior. That is the class I have chosen. I am classic rounded fighter. Is what the build is if we're gonna put it in D&D terms. I'm straight down the line sword fighter.
Yep.
I got my two-handed sword. I got my a little leather vest that is all of my armor. It's a little leather vest and my sword. A lot of parry.
Yep. So I think we'll. Oh, Jordan, you go first.
Oh, I was gonna say my passives because a lot of them have to deal with me being bloody.
I think that's what
have
Root of Blood is too. It activates like when I get hurt or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
when
have
more than half of your runes is in the wounds pile or lower.
Yeah.
Well,
when I get
you don't
super
know what that is
injured,
yet.
I get a power boost. I have a second mode like a video game boss.
Yes.
oh
Yup.
I have Blood Drinker, Carried by Blood, Desperation, Fangs, Tactician, and Unarmed Power.
Nice.
I'm definitely feeling like after going through this character creation process that these designers have sat down and read 4th edition cover to cover more than once.
Mhm.
Yeah. Potentially.
Like maybe not like
Well,
thematically
this game
where everyone
is
has
over
these-
20 years old. The base original, not this specific
really?
game, but
Oh.
the runic system it's based off of is actually quite old.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I
cool.
saw a
It
20th
just has a
anniversary
similar
version
feel
page.
where everyone has a variety of powers for a variety of reasons.
We're correct.
Like that concept, whether or not it's directly influenced or not, feels similar to me.
Yep. So, I will figure. I don't know how we'll feel. I think I'll ask you guys to go through things. I don't know if we'll begin next session, or I think probably sometime next week we'll start playing. We might still go through things again, but I don't know. That's not. We don't have to. The way this is going to work is what I'm thinking. There is a pre-written adventure in the book. We will start with that. It will likely only be a few sessions. Then, let's see how we feel about the game, and if we want to keep playing, we'll spin off of that and use that as the foundation of continued campaign for a bit longer.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely 100% down for running the pre-written adventure in the book. I always like running those pre-written book adventures because it's very much like get the feel of the game immediately. Like if it's a well done pre-written in the main book adventure, like it should encapsulate all of the core components. So I'd be more equipped to do spin-off stuff from it, seeing what the game wants you to do first.
Yes.
So I'm curious.
The pre-written adventure is fairly simple. It will not start with a fight. It'll start with just here is the basics of how the game works. We'll be starting likely with skill checks and role playing and socialization. And then after that, depending on how things go, there may be fights, which is part of the meat of the game, of course, as you're seeing here. Yeah.
I have a big ass list of homework to look up for all of these powers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I just came across like what Hand of Tyr actually does. It's it's Mage Hand.
I have 27. I have 27, or not 27, 21 different powers that I then have to look up.
Well,
Or
you have
14
14 because some of the
I guess the
skills.
skills don't matter.
Not really.
But like, I should look up the skills, but I don't. It doesn't matter that much.
Yep.
But like, I have the passives and the physicals. That's just 14. I gotta
The
research.
3 places that I strongly recommend looking up and just trying to get a hand on are the active powers, the meta tags, and the conditions. Those 3 sections are the ones that I was repeatedly just going back to over and over and over again as I figured out what these things did.
This is an interesting game in that while most of the games we played, including City of Mists, are most of the problems that we may or may not have with them are largely preferential. This is a game that I already feel is both very good, but will have some more objective flaws than subjective. For example, some information is just very poorly portrayed or hard to find. The book layout is in some places it doesn't explain itself as well as it could. The book layout is iffy. So expect to need to put some work into it, or just ask me questions. Me and Marissa will be to happily help with.
Yeah, even your Roll20 design here is helping a lot for fighting this stuff.
Yeah,
because I can look up equipment this instead of like flipping through the book with its flavor text.
Yeah.
So, I have a combat section. I'd recommend likely starting with generic actions if you want to read as to what the heck each of them are. Yeah.
Cool. Do these runes save? Just housekeeping note on the tic-tac-toe boards. Are they going to stay?
Oh yeah, they're tokens. They're staying there. They're not.
Okay, cool. That's what I was checking because I don't want my tokens to go because I wrote down all the skills and stuff, but I didn't write down what runes attached to them.
Yep. No, they'll be there.
I did for the active powers because it has a spot for it.
Yes.
But...
Oh yeah, I should probably put that on the passive powers too, right?
On the passive powers, yeah. At some
Like
point
what
you
rune
should.
corresponds to what?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that later too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some homework on this.
Yep. So let us know if you have any questions. I think Marissa actually knows the game much better than me at this point. She's made 5 characters.
Nice you.
I'm probably also going to be doing some, probably more while I'm running the adventure, than before. Research on or Viking mythology and stuff like that, because I do not have that much knowledge about it. Most of it has been...
If you're looking for a book, Neil Gaiman recently released, and I just like Neil Gaiman's writing, his own... It's not
Norse
his own...
Gods.
Yeah, he wrote Norse Gods, where it's basically a rewrite of a bunch of... It's not a rewrite, it is just him writing them, because it's, with myths, it's kind of like a translation issue, and like research of figuring out what the most accurate... Because there's so many of them. It's his telling of these runes very much in, like, not the runes, but the stories, very much in, like, the oral tradition style, where everyone that tells it adds a little bit to it, and less in, like, this is one we found on an ancient rock. It's modern writing with the same story beats and the same characters and the same results of the story. It's not like he's doing narrative changes, just like, the little words here and there, because it's various translations and authors and edits that he has compiled into Norse Gods, and I've listened to some of that on audiobook, and that's
excellent.
Like a good way if you want just like a myth, like a North Foundation myth one. Like that's a pretty good intro. There's a pretty good introduction to that book, and it goes through some of the core North mythology myths, like the story of how Thor got his hammer, and stuff like that.
I see it here.
Yeah, I actually bought that book for my niece. It's actually a really good book.
Yeah, no, it's a really good book.
Okay. One other thing, last thing to mention, I'll probably bring it up before our first real session as well, is that this, we see this most strongly in Saga of the Icelanders, I think is what it is, where gender is a thing, slaves are a thing in this game. One thing about this game specifically is it implies gender without enforcing it. A lot of the language is just like, yes, this role is typically female. Cannot be female and do this role. Same with the other way around. I think that will still be that is a part of the game, but it does it in a sort of soft way, if that makes sense, rather than specifically tackling it.
Yeah, that also is reflected in Norse mythology, that soft rules on what gender roles imply, because like even in the myths, they set up those soft rules and then immediately have a character shatter them. Where it's like, ladies do magic, but the king god is a wizard.
Yeah.
That by itself is just the overarching concept, where it's like there's the cultural understanding that magic is the women's world or whatever, but like the chief deity is like a wimpy wizard. Like that's his shtick. He's not like wimpy. He's like powerful in his own right, but he's not like a shatter the shields, like kick down the door kind of character. He is the wise. He is the powerful. He has a tactical weapon. He has a spear that can pierce through anything. He doesn't have a sword that can cut through stone. He has a precision weapon. He uses magic and more typically effeminate things in Norse mythology, and that is the king god. Even though they have the setup that they go through and then immediately shatter like that. So that idea that there are the soft barriers that then get twisted when it makes more sense is very much in line with Norse mythology itself.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the other one that was interesting was definitely the slavery, though. So.
Yep, slaves are just a thing that is in the game described as entirely ordinary, and the player characters are expected to not necessarily be okay with it, but
not in Wessex. It's not okay. It's not okay in Wessex. Like they didn't.
No, you're right.
Like the Nords had slaves, and that was a pretension, like a historically accurate point of contention between the Norman invaders and the people of England, is that the Norman invaders took slaves.
Yes, you're right.
I guess the question is, where do we want to land with that?
The adventure assumes, but it's actually fairly easy to change. Starting adventure has slaves as just a background element. But that's very easy to change to, workers, laborers, general servants.
Yeah, we don't need to forefront it, but I'm fine with it as, because if it's involved, I will be taking an adversarial relationship against the practice.
Yeah. Slave drivers or any typical mistreatment of slaves is not a thing that is shown. In fact, it's not. I mean, slavery is bad. It is described in the Viking society in the rule book. I don't know about actual. That slaves can eventually become free and become citizens and things like that.
And they weren't. Now, my history is vague on this because it was a while back that I read through it, but Norse slaves weren't like mistreated as much as like the cultural connotation would make you believe.
It's closer to indentured servitude. I'm not saying it's good, but it's closer to the more generalized European practice of indentured servitude, where it's I
didn't kill you, so you work for me now.
Yeah,
was basically where it landed.
Yeah,
it's closer to indentured. It's not that it's good, but it's closer to indentured servitude. And if it's involved, the strongest man of Wessex will be kicking down slave pens to kick them out. But that's a character point.
Okay, well, we will see how that goes.
But that'll be an ongoing discussion throughout the game.
Yeah.
As to how we're treating it.
Yes. Okay. Then I think we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Viking stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I can switch us to our Neon Quartz camera screen. We can say goodbye. Because we've been on just showing my screens.
Yeah, just showing the cameras and the Roll20.
I'm probably this next coming overlay will likely be very much showing Roll20 because it'll be switching, even for me, between a battle map. Like here is an example. I don't know if it's actually intended to be a battle map, but if you want to do the map change, which we'll figure it after, you can now switch it back to rejoin, and it'll take you to a battle map. It should.
I have to fix my rejoin button too. So
that's weird. Both of mine worked like automatically. I don't know why.
Can you go in and edit our macros, or do we have to do
I
that
can't
from
see
our
them.
end?
Unless
you have to edit your own macro.
Yeah, you could set them up, then just have them visible to everybody.
You could.
Oh, okay.
You could set up like macros and like show them to players quick bars or something.
Where is? Oh, visible to players. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll figure out this.
I will do that. Yeah.
Just make sure you give us permission to see them too, because that's another.
Yeah.
Okay, then we will be gone, but then we're good.
Cool.
Between sessions and figure it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.